Welcome, Pisces and Pisces cross watchers, to your love reading for this month. So we have overall energy, and then we're going to look at what each of you is thinking and feeling towards each other and the relationship, and then actions or intentions towards each other. So we'll start with your person here. If you're new here, welcome. If you are returning, welcome back. I've been a bit spotty here. This came out on the pre-shuffle too. So we have the world here for what your person is thinking. I'm just getting this feeling where it feels like something's coming in hot. But it's almost like for someone that, if you're someone that's really intuitive and really perceptive, it's almost like you'll feel that something's a little bit off, but it's not quite like a disturbance in the force. It just feels like there's something that comes in that's not at all what you expected. We have the Hermit here. Looks like someone's exasperated. And then their actions or intentions towards Pisces. Oops. Five of Water or Five of Cups. So we have the Emperor in your headspace. Whoops. Eight of Air. So we have the Eight of Swords on your end. It feels like you're in a space where you're losing yourself, or at least you were. It feels like there's something here, like you realize that you deserve better. It's like whatever this situation was, it went to, if you'll excuse me for saying this, like it went to hell in a handbasket real fast. And I feel like it's almost like there was this flurry of emotion, or not emotion even, but, when they're like, oh, it's been such a whirlwind. It feels kind of like that. It's almost like things were moving so quickly that you weren't really able to like get your bearings about the situation. And I feel like, and it doesn't even feel like necessarily the dust has settled. It feels more that it's like something has happened here. It feels more like it could be that something has sparked a change in you that's made you kind of flip a switch here. It's almost like, that's it. I have had enough. It's that type of an energy, but it doesn't have all that stank on it that I just put on that. It feels more that it's like, that's enough. This is enough. And what's interesting is it doesn't actually feel like you will be acting any differently outwardly. That's not a good sentence. It kind of feels like you, whereas before you may have just been reacting to the situation because things were so like unexpectedly chaotic. It's almost like things were whirring by past you so quickly you couldn't even quite see them. You were too involved. And I feel like now you're looking at it like, yep. It's more like you are not a distant observer, but an uninvolved observer, although you are, I'm not trying to give away all your secrets here, but it feels like you're outwardly, it looks like you're doing something very different. Hold on for a second. There's this energy up in your head where like, yeah, let them think whatever they want. Who cares? But you're using something to your advantage here. It's almost like, so the Five of Fire or Five of Wands here that's in your heart space, that's usually when it's in the regular deck, it's got 5 different people with 5 different wands, and if they would all work together, they could build something, but because it's just all over the place, you know, everyone's wasting their time. Um, it's almost like your head is gently taking over for your heart, saying like, okay, we're done. This is done. So I feel like your person knows that something, it's almost like their heart can see what their mind isn't willing to listen to. I feel like this may be for a specific few of you. I'm sorry if this doesn't resonate with everybody, like this whole reading. But it feels like you've been trying for too long, or at least like you feel like I've been trying for a long time with this person. It's not going in the right direction. You know what I mean? It just feels like to get to the core of this person, they have like 40 different locks on the other side of the door. You know, sometimes in the movies where like you can hear all the locks turning as someone's opening or closing the door. It kind of feels like that's what this person is, but it's like they're holding up the keys like you have access to them, but it's more like the keys are being displayed in a museum. You can see them, but you can't. It's like they want you to fight them so that you can love them. You know what I mean? And like, it feels kind of like emptying and exhausting. And it's like, you don't mind, you know, it doesn't mean that you have a problem fighting for somebody that you care about. But it just feels like this person takes a lot out of you. Yeah, that's it. It feels kind of exhausting. That might be why your head's had to kind of step in here, because your heart's just like, I'm, you know, kind of done. So I'm just going to have a sip of my coffee here. I feel like this person at times, they might be a little dramatic, and that's not to be crappy towards this person. It just kind of feels like they'll have a dramatic reaction, and then it's like, I don't know if you can see the energy of this person. They're kind of in this headspace, and then they stop doing this for a second and look at you to make sure you can see them. You know how if you've ever seen like a little kid do that, they're like freaking out and having a tantrum and stomping their feet, and then if you like walk away from them, they'll stop and get up and come in the room that you're in, and then get back on the floor and go back into their tantrum. Maybe that's just me, but that's it's that type of an energy. They want attention, and it's like if you don't give them the attention in that way that they're looking for, they then use it to kind of act like a victim. And I feel like even though part of them knows that they're lying to themselves, they truly, like, they have the feelings associated with feeling like a victim, if that makes sense. It's almost like even though they know that it's contrived, a part of them genuinely starts to feel it because they display so much emotion around it. It's like the people of the lie, I guess this person kind of partially believes their own lie, but only partially. So we're going to get a couple clarifiers here. Why can't you walk away yet? Are you, it's almost like you might be feeling a bit, for some of you, you really may not be able to. It's almost like if this is your boss's child, or, like, and there's some nepotism going on. I don't know if that makes sense, but it just feels like, or it's like a relative of your landlord or something. Whatever it is, it just feels like this person is somebody that can take all of this, um, you know, dramatic victim stuff, and they can go running to somebody that, it's like, it doesn't necessarily feel like this person would have any genuine impact on, your job or your living situation, but it's going to cause some BS, some problems that you're going to have to deal with. You know what I mean? It's almost like if your person went to your landlord and said, like, oh, Pisces did this and Pisces did that. Can you even believe this? And da 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 da. I feel like whoever this person is talking to, like the landlord, they're sick of this person's crap too. But in that same light, I can see them kind of getting up and be like, okay, now I got to go down and talk to this person. It's almost like whoever that person is, the landlord or the boss or whatever, has this, like, I don't know if it's like codependent, or they made an agreement with this person's, like, parents or something to take care of them. It just feels like they're locked in to dealing with this stuff. And it's almost like some of you might start acting really cold, acting like the problem is with you. There may be something genuinely that you're going through, but I feel like if you haven't found an out in this situation, like a graceful way out, it doesn't feel like, because it's something that you can't just, like, walk away from because there's, these extenuating circumstances with this person that seems to have some sort of control over your life in one way or another, or at least an element of control. This situation has to be handled really delicately. And it doesn't actually even feel like the cards are saying that. It feels like that's where you're at. You're looking at it like, okay, this has not worked out well. It may have seemed really great at the time, but something told you that it was off and you ignored it because this person's really, like, lively and vivacious, and they seem to be, they're the kind of person that you can't help but notice when they walk in the room because they have so much life in them. But it's like they're very chaotic. So it's almost like you're going to kind of stay where you are. You found something that is legitimate that you are able to use to get out of this situation. And it's almost like this person, if they're always kind of no, you can't see my hand. If they're always all over the place like this, it's almost like you're just going to let them vibrate right out. You know what I mean? Until all of their lamentations, I guess, just kind of like fade into the background. For some of you, this person, like, you might go to a place where you don't hear any of their nonsense anymore, and then it comes back in. At least that's kind of, for some of you, you may feel like, oh my God, I'm never going to get, rid of this nonsense. I'm never going to get rid of this person. And that's not to be crappy to this person, okay? And it doesn't feel like, if you're a cross watcher, it doesn't feel like Pisces is sitting over here acting like they're better than you. They just, they just kind of can't do this. I'm hearing like they can't fix whatever's going on with you. It's like, it's almost to say like, it isn't anything personal. Okay, so we get one on this 8 of Air. Uh, so for some of you, I feel like I just went on this diatribe about how, um, this person may have to vibrate out and they may, rear their head again and that sort of thing. But it feels, and now the cards are saying maybe that's not the case. So the Knight of Swords usually talks about a very, like kind of the cold hard truth coming in very quickly and very decisively. And Pisces, I feel like you're looking at the situation that it's like there are certain elements of the truth that this person isn't really ready to handle right now. And again, it's not to be crappy towards this person. If someone is acting in this type of way, whatever they need, they're not getting. It almost kind of feels like maybe this person does, somebody needs to do the cold hard truth with them, but because you're not really, like, you're not in the business of hurting people intentionally. And I feel like if you saw some sort of value in being really brutally honest with this person, I feel like you would do so as gently as possible. But it actually feels like if you did that, it would allow them to go further into this victim energy. And that's not helping anybody. Right? It's almost like in the way that you're going to conduct yourself, you're going to try to set an example for this person for how to handle themselves. Oh. So we have the Five of Cups. To clarify, the Five of Cups. They are going to be kind of devastated here, truthfully. They seem to have a lot of shame about their big emotions. They seem to, it's almost this energy of like, damn it, I can't believe I did it again. They seem to, it's almost like they're stuck in a cycle and they're starting to get, a part of them is beginning to get disgusted with their own behavior. It's almost like they're starting to realize that they've been sabotaging themselves. Or at least the way that they've been acting has been sabotaging the things that have been coming into their life. And I feel like they're going to be a bit, you may notice that the dramatic part of their reaction settles down rather quickly. It feels like, for those of you, I feel like this reading's all over the place, so I'm sorry if that's the case. I feel like if this person does act in a bit more somber way, that you don't really trust it. And it's almost like, it may be that you don't trust it. It may not be that one way or another. It's almost like you've learned not to trust when you think someone has changed until they prove it. If that makes sense. I think we're going to get one more on this world up here. Just going to make sure the deck is upright. So we have the Four of Cups and the Nine of Wands, both reversed. Hold on for a second. It kind of feels like how the cards were saying that this person's kind of, they are in the midst of change, or at least this situation catalyzes that. I feel like when they drop a lot of this stuff, when they let go a lot of that, like almost like a learned behavior, it's almost like somebody who actually has a really like calm demeanor, learned to be very dramatic because of their early environment. And it's like they're starting to realize that they don't really even like doing that. You know what I mean? If ever you have met someone that's like they're this way when they're, young or in high school or whatever, and then you meet them when they're a little bit older, and it's almost like you're looking at a different person because of the way they handle themselves. I feel like that's kind of what's happening here with this person. I keep being drawn back to this, like Pisces is still going to be really smart about it. They're not going to kind of let themselves get taken by surprise by anything. You're still going to be really like prudent about the situation and make wise decisions. It just feels like this person's kind of in the midst of change. I feel like, you know how in the tarot, after the Strength card, then we hit the Hermit, where like you go into the cave to like reevaluate and find yourself. That's where they're headed. I feel like this door has been beckoning them before, but they kept ignoring it because they didn't want to, because it wasn't going to be any fun. They may be somebody that kind of brushes stuff off because like, oh, that's not going to be fun. I don't want to do that. So I think we will do one final card here. We get a final card. So it is the Death card, but remember that the Death card means transformation, right? Something is exiting so that something else can be reborn, essentially. I feel like you're going to get maybe not a front row seat, but a pretty good seat to watching someone's transformation. And I feel like even though this person is transforming, you still may be a bit cynical about it, because you've been screwed over before and you're looking at it like, yeah, I remember. Like, okay. And it doesn't feel like it's like a judgment on this person or any other situation in particular. It feels like it's been like a stacked number of situations where like you've learned this lesson before, you're not interested in learning it again. So, Pisces, I think I'll leave it there. If this reading was helpful, all of a sudden I don't know what to say. I hope that this reading was helpful. If it resonated, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and we will see you on the next one. Much love. Bye.